War's on, ladies and gentlemen. My name's Ross, I like games, and today we've got another Transformers character card to look at. It's coming out in War for Cybertron Siege, and it's looking pretty gosh darn good. It was revealed by the lovely folks over at VectorSigma.info. You know the deal, ladies and gentlemen. We need to make sure we're showing love to the people who are getting these reveals so that we can hopefully get more of these from content creators and members of the community in the future, which I absolutely adore. Plus, Vector Sigma is a great Transformers TCG website. Please go and check it out. I'll pop a link in the description. But those guys do an awful lot of good for the community. Please go show them a little bit of love. So Private Flak then. It is a Micromaster. And there are a few things straight off the bat that we know about Micromasters. First of all, we know that it's going to be a 4 or 5 cost character. And we're not disappointed, ladies and gentlemen. We've got a 5 cost character. Like we talked about in the Raider Vispa video, they are all either 4 or 5 cost characters. And similarly, it's going to have stealth when untapped in alt mode. Now, I'm going to stop explaining this quite so fully because we've talked about it in a couple of videos now. I can't spend a few minutes doing it in every video. But long story short, it means that when all your characters are untapped, your opponent cannot go after this one. They've got to choose a different one unless all of your characters have stealth, in which case it's open season. And you know you're going to have bad stats here, so it's really nice to have stealth when untapped. But the second you tap, whether it's attacking or using a tap skill, which Micromasters we know have in bot mode, it's open season, ladies and gentlemen. It's open season. Now, speaking about the stats, they are not too bad. Not for a Micromaster. The 7 health is low, but about what we would expect. The attack of either 3 or 2 is fine for a Micromaster, certainly the 3. But defense of 1 or 2 is good. Both the Raiders we saw yesterday, Vispa and Stormcloud, they both had a defense of 0, while having a health of 7. So having a health of, well, actually 6 for Raider Stormcloud. So having a health of 7 with a defense of 1 or 2 does make this pretty bulky for a Micromaster. And then in bot mode, we've got our tap skill. You can tap it, you can scrap an orange card from your hand, and then you may play an upgrade. Simple as that. It lets you play an extra upgrade. Cool. And I did say that the Micromasters tap skills are all based around previously released battle cards. Who can name this one quickly? It's New Designs. Interestingly enough, it seems to be that the card you have to discard from your hand in order to get the skill working is the same icon that you have on the card it's aping. So Private Flak here is copying New Designs if you discard an orange card from your hand, and oh look, New Designs has an orange icon. Now, playing extra upgrades is good. You are allowed to attach 1 upgrade per turn, and upgrades can make a huge difference to you winning or losing the game. There's so many good upgrades. I really like the idea of playing this in a truck deck and just using it to play multiple cargo trailer, because of course you can play several cargo trailer in one utility slot up to 3, and if you get all 3 you get +9. So maybe here, and it's quite unlikely you'd need the perfect hand to do so, but attach cargo trailer for your turn, play a New Designs to attach a cargo trailer, discard an orange card from your hand, and then attach and obviously tap Private Flak, and then attach the 3rd cargo trailer. Now, in order to pull that off, you'd have to have in your hand New Designs, 3 cargo trailer, and another orange battle card to discard for the ability. It's quite unlikely that you're actually going to be able to pull this off. But if you can pull it off, that'd be one heck of a turn, ladies and gentlemen. The other thing that springs to mind here is using something like Megatron Living Weapon from back in Wave 1 that can have multiple weapons attached to it. And then you can just attach a couple of weapons. Or maybe you take advantage of the Wave 2 Megatron Arrogant Leader Arrogant Ruler, sorry, which, when you attack, you can scrap an upgrade and draw 2 cards, but when you flip to alt mode, you may play an upgrade. So you're probably going to be playing a fairly upgrade-heavy deck, so this can help you out. And it's also a 5-cost tank. So one deck I really like playing around with is the Megatron Arrogant Ruler, combined with the Wave 1 Megatron Decepticon Leader. They're both 10 cost, so that leaves you with 5 extra stars to play with. And you can go for some battle cards here, but you can go for this bad boy. And it's got stealth, and it's just going to let you play extra upgrades. But Arrogant Ruler really wants to play a lot of upgrades in your deck to draw cards, and you can play extra ones, etc. And then you can just start taking advantage of cards. Maybe things like Fusion Cannon of Megatron, for instance. Because, you know, if you're playing double Megatron, why not? I'm not going to sit here and go through every possible upgrade. That would take a while and be slightly redundant. But you see where I'm going with this. It's a 5-star tank, which means it can fill the gaps in a bunch of decks. It's got pretty good defense, especially for a Micromaster. And you're a tank. So you fit nicely into tank decks. You can use Hunkered Down here. You get to flip all of your bots from bot mode into tank mode. And then that will allow you to attach an armor. And maybe you go Force Field here. Force Field means that you can only take 4 damage from an attack, which guarantees that you can take an attack here. So if you've got stealth in alt mode, and then you flip a Force Field on before you tap, and remember, you cannot be attacked until you tap, attacking or just plain tapping, so you have got time to get the Force Field here, that could be fun. And maybe you play free Force Field, and between Private Flak and Megatron, it's much easier to actually get the time to attach them all. And then you can play around with Hunkered Down. You get to flip all of your bots back into tank mode, and then put an armor on them, so you can even recover all of these Force Field here. And incidentally, it's a good idea to try and get Flak back into alt mode before you untap your characters, so that when you do untap them all, you immediately get access to your ability. That's kind of cool. I should also mention here that you are a ranged character. There's plenty of stuff you can do with this. We've got Rapid Ascent to try and do a little bit of hand disruption, Armed Hovercraft to do a bit of extra cheeky damage. We've got Marksmanship, which lets you do 2 damage to one of your opponent's characters in bot mode, if you have a ranged character on the field. And we've also got Cooling Vents, which does a little bit of healing. Or to put it another way, there are some really nice upgrades for ranged characters. Just putting that out there, ladies and gentlemen. Just putting that out there. So there's a few things that you can do with this particular character. One of my favourite things, it's just a 5-cost tank. And look, I know we've got a 4-cost tank, I know we've got Slammer, but come on. Slammer doesn't even flip. Slammer's fine. But Slammer's really for a Metroplex deck. Slammer isn't really what we want to be playing around with. Like when I'm playing double Megatron, I don't really want to go playing with Slammer, but Private Flak I can see here. And here's the thing. You don't have to use this for the bot mode skill. Now you could, or you could just have it as a 3rd tank. It's a ranged character, so you can just play around with stuff like Marksmanship, with Armed Hovercraft to do a bit of cheeky damage, Rapid Ascent to do a little bit of hand disruption, or just having an attacker with Force Field, knowing that Hunker Down is going to be able to recover it, and then it's just a nice cheap Force Field user. Because the thing is, Slammer can't even use Force Field. And I could see this just playing it in a tank deck as a look, it can use a Force Field, it's a 5 cost, and it means we can keep getting it back with Hunker Down. The thing you've got to remember is that a lot of tank decks want to go aggressive blue. And I know that's a little bit of a juxtaposition there. They want to be going heavy blue so that they can do a whole bunch of just stopping KOs. And the problem is, if you go heavy blue to be a little bit defensive, you're going to struggle to use Private Flak's ability. Now, that doesn't mean you can't play any orange icons, but it means if you're only playing a few orange cards, you are gonna run into times during the game where you're not actually able to find an orange card in your hand, so you can't use the ability. But maybe if that's the case, you don't flip. Just putting that out there, ladies and gentlemen. Just putting that out there. Or you could use it as an, I'm going to go down fairly quickly, but until I go down, I'm going to get some more upgrades on the field, and use it in a more aggressive deck just to accelerate your upgrades into play. Or like every Micromaster, you can just use it as a cheap stealth user to try and force your opponent into attacking the kind of characters you want. Either way, it's a 5-cost tank with a really nice ability, and I, for one, think that there's a lot of potential here. But I want to know what you think. So please do let me know in the comment section. Go nuts, but please do remember the rule. Be nice, would you? And then make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, and follow me on Twitter at the Wossy, where we talk about Transformers and a whole bunch of other games. But by far the most important thing, as always, look after yourselves till next time. Thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross, and you've been watching Wossy Plays.